Hello and welcome. This is the Lanshan 1 tent, and I've been a Lanshan 2 owner for just over 2 years. Absolutely love that tent. It's been my go-to backpacking tent for the last couple of years. I reckon I've done 100 nights plus in that tent, but I've just bought this. So in this video what I'm going to do is tell you why I bought it and really kind of what my first impressions are of it. The Lanshan 2 for me has been just a brilliant tent, great value for money, just so many things I love about it. I won't go into it now, but if you want to see a review of that tent, there's one on my channel, I'll put a link to it below, but fantastic tent. There are, however, I don't think any tent's ever perfect, and there have been a couple of limitations with it. I've used it myself and I've been backpacking on my own, and it really is very, very spacious and almost palatial for one person. But one of the issues is it does have a very large footprint, so it's not a brilliant tent for just kind of finding a nice little wee corner to pitch your tent up somewhere. I found it does need quite a big space. I am planning next year to do a couple of long solo trips, and so I thought, well, I could probably do something ideally with a bit of a smaller footprint. And also, although the Lanshan 2 is very light, I mean it is just over a kilo in weight, this comes in a little bit lighter, so I thought, yep, I'll go for something, try and find something with a smaller footprint and that's a little bit lighter. About 3 weeks ago I got an email from 3FUL Gear. They had like a Black Friday deal thing on with 15% off their tent, so I had a quick look on. The Lanshan one was on there, and it was just under £95. That's including delivery to the UK. I thought, you know what, again, it just seems an absolute bargain. So I bought it on PayPal, bought it using PayPal, and it's arrived within a couple of weeks. So really pleased with that. Came nicely packaged in a cardboard box. So first thing I did was to take it out of the box. And the weight of the whole thing was, well, you can see 962 grams, but that includes things like an instruction booklet and a tent repair kit, so probably maybe get the weight of that down a little bit. So weight wise, you're looking at a couple of 100 grams less than the Lanshan 2. So I had my first go at pitching the tent. Now with these Lanshan tents, they do take a little bit of practice, you know, pitching them to get them really right and as you want them. Same with this one. The first go, kind of okay, but I'd probably want to get a bit more efficient and a bit better at doing it, particularly if the weather wasn't so good. But anyway, here is my first attempt at pitching. As I say, it's not great. I think with these tents which rely on tension, you really want to make sure you get good tension across all parts of the fly sheet, and you don't know, yeah, there's some bits here that are a bit saggier, shall we say, than I would like. But anyway, I think, yeah, with a bit of practice I'll be able to get that tension better and kind of work out how to do that. Now the great thing from my point of view is all the materials on this tent are absolutely identical to on the Lanshan 2. So I know what I'm getting here, alright. The outer is absolutely bomb proof, alright. It's getting all sorts of weather, never had any issues with it at all. Absolutely fabulous. Same with the zip, never an issue at all, never let a slightest bit of water in. So I know that the materials that it's made of are fantastic. They do sag a little bit because it's that silk nylon, so it does need, you know, often repegging a little bit after some rain, but the fly sheet is fantastic quality, really, really durable. So that's great. All the tie-on points, guy lines, exactly the same as on the Lanshan 2. So I know again there I'm going to get really quality, good durable stuff. What I did on my latest Lanshan 2 is I just put some seam sealant on these tying out points here, just really to make sure, and I did a bit on the top as well. So that's a little modification that I'll make there. I'll make sure I do that before I take it out for the first time. But yeah, really pleased to see everything's identical. The same on the inner as well. The inner's made out of exactly the same material. The fly sheet that just looks so flimsy. It really does. It's like got a tip up the middle. But again, it's been amazing. It's been so durable in all sorts of different kind of conditions. You know, very dry, dusty conditions like on the Colorado Trail, and then some wet conditions in Scotland. Just yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. So I'm now in the inner tent. Now the Lanshan 2 is amazing in terms of its internal space. The amount of internal space you get for the weight is just fantastic. And obviously, first impressions here is that this is more compact. In fact, it's more like half a Lanshan 2. But you've got loads of space on the bottom here, easily fit a full-size sit paddle on here, no problems at all. And I've also got to say I'd probably have a bit of space there to put some gear if I need to. So internally, I think for one, looks like I've got bags of space here, that looks absolutely fine. Again, vestibule area, which again is really generous, like on the Lanshan 2. I've got plenty of space there to put a full-size rucksack, plenty of space there to cook as well if I need to do. And of course I've got the head space as well, I can sit up properly, enough space to sit up properly. And I think this could probably be raised a bit higher actually, probably do another 5 centimetres on what I've got, so I could probably lift that a little bit higher up as well. So in terms of internal room, yeah, pretty happy with this. I can certainly see myself being perfectly comfortable in here. Now, brilliant that Lanshan 2 has been. One of its downfalls, I think, is in terms of condensation. So I think there are times when it is prone to bad condensation because it relies really on you getting a good draft underneath the fly sheet of the tent, which is fine of course, unless it's absolutely hammering it down with rain, where you want the tent sat lower anyway. And I don't know, yeah, I've had some occasions in this tent where the condensation's been really bad. But the fact that it's had the 2 skin one, which is why I'd always buy the 2 skin one in the UK, it's been possible to keep the inner pretty dry and therefore keep your gear dry on the inside, which of course is most important. What I am noticing here on this tent is just about that separation, perhaps a bit up there towards the top. It's important that you try and keep that separation as good as possible. Which is fine on a day like today, of course, when there's no wind, but when the wind's really strong, that can become more difficult. So for me, it'll be interesting to see, yeah, how it copes with condensation. It's why as well, I think these tents in the UK certainly are only 3-season tents. I don't care what inner you have on here, because of that condensation issue. I don't think you can use them in winter. Now I am going to make probably a couple of modifications on the tent. I've already done one where I've separated the guy line out. I've just that as running as one long guy line off the top, and then here at the bottom just put a little carabiner on the doors with a bit of Dyneema cord. Just find that works better, just like I did on the Lanshan 2. That's great. And what I'll probably do as well is replace the pegging out points, these first 5 pegging out points, with shepherd hooks. I just think they work well, work a bit better for getting the tension on the tent. So I'll certainly do that to start off with. And also, as I've said, I'll probably put some seam sealant just on those there, those guy line points there, just as an extra precaution. But no, first impressions are good. It's definitely more compact than the 2, so it's going to solve that problem for me. A bit lighter weight, and yeah, it's yeah, looks good. But as I always say, the proof of these things is always in the pudding, isn't it? It's one thing putting it up in your back garden and thinking it looks all right. It's another thing when you're up on the hills, you know, using it over several days. You then find out whether it's any good or not. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll probably do a follow-up review maybe in 12 months time after I've given it a proper good testing out to make sure it's still as durable as the Lanshan 2. But yeah, I think it looks a pretty decent tent, certainly quite for 95 quid. Just think it's an absolute bargain. So anyway, I'd be really happy for other people who've used the Lanshan 1 to let me know what they think of it. Any thoughts? Perhaps any other modifications I could do with it to make it better. Be really appreciated if you share that with me. Other than that, thank you very much for watching.